Having infiltrated the Master's necropolis, our heroes of Saltport find themselves in the dark and humid chamber, carpeted with chitinous insects that cracked crunched underfoot. More alarmingly was the varying globules of blood that hung in stasis in the dusty air. Occasional moans and distant screams made the air palpable as they ventured deeper into the labyrinthine tomb. Taking the time to investigate the area, it isn't long before the first trap is sprung. A thin sheet of glass shatters, inflicting the cursed wrath of those in their deathly slumber. As the party press deeper, the Baron finds the corpse of an elven archaeologist. Little is known about the person save for the university where he came from and his understanding of the tombs and mysterious hieroglyphs. Taking the information on board and pressing north, they walk into another antechamber. There, waiting in the shadows for them, is Masasir, the Raja's mysterious and elusive vizier. She reveals that firstly, she is the daughter of the Master and of Wetwawet, and subsequently welcomes Rain as her brother, thanking him for bringing his friends to the necropolis as a sacrifice to garner Wetwawet's favour. Her torso is a vision of desiccated horror, juxtaposed with her attractive doll-like features. The mummified and skeletal midriff turns our adventurers' stomachs and sets them on guard. To tilt the balance in her favour, she sets upon the party, assisted by a large Tlinkali that was waiting in the shadows above their heads. Whilst the battle was uncomfortably close quarters, the party succeeds in magnificently dispatching Masasir and her scorpidoid denizen. On sensing the tide of battle turning against her, she teleports behind the party to attempt to gain the upper hand, only to be swiftly stopped and dispatched. The choking plasmatic air lifts slightly upon her passing, and the globules of animated blood dissipate. After the battle and some more exploration, the band of adventurers discover a sanctum of sorts, with a small ark that offers some welcome sustenance and potential place to rest and heal. Looming in the central room is a towering statue of Wetwawet, the ancient deity's head, that of a lupine skull, seemingly to grin in a deathly manner. Plinths, the height of a halfling, stand proudly in an array at the statue's feet. Coloured orbs float on top of the stone columns. Our party is without Dorful tonight, and we are still without Cam's character. He is in between characters as a bit of a heads up, so it's hard to discern who he will play. I'm just logging in as DM, and hopefully no one can see that. No, cool. Okay, so thanks very much, guys. So currently you find yourselves in a very small but welcome antechamber. The feeling is that of like a radiance. It makes you feel good about yourself, whereas the rest of the tomb that you've explored so far has a sort of gloomy, morbid sense to it. This sort of gives you a sense of relaxation and of peace. Having just comfortably felled Masasir and her Tlinkali companion, you were able to find some various loot from her, but also a brooch which grants you a friendship with scorpidoid creatures. You're more or less a full complement. So without further adu, what would you like to do?
Have we rested?
I don't believe you have. I think you're slightly depleted.
I think we were having a long rest because this was a safe room.
I think I remember arguing maybe against it. because otherwise the enemies would have time to
Yes.
I don't know, butcher up a bit.
Oh.
Well, you can put it to a vote.
I suppose. I thought we had because my page is fresh.
Were we able to long rest in like an hour or something? Or did we get something like that? Or...
I think all I can safely say is that given the sensation that you get from this room, you do get the impression that it's some sort of sanctum. Given the theme of all the rest of the tomb, this could have perhaps been some very potent or powerful magic that was established by the likes of a previous adventuring party or miners that might have ventured into these initial caverns. But as it stands, without really spending some time to fully analyze the sort of the atmosphere, as it were, you get the impression that it is some kind of sanctum.
I think we haven't had a rest because I have some spent spell slots, but I would agree with the Baron that if we couldn't spare the 8 hours because the genie's wife is in danger potentially. So,
Well,
yeah.
I was just gonna say, I think I realised why my character sheet looks like it's had a long rest, because when I've leveled it up for some reason it's given me a long rest.
Wait, what level are we?
8. We leveled up at the end of the last one.
Oh, okay, I gotta do that. Cool.
Okay, well, while Hannah takes a bit of a look, now I don't want you to rush your character, so I won't hold any decisions you make against you, obviously. I thought I had mentioned it, but I'm pretty rubbish as far as DMs go. If you want to take your time to quickly go through it, I will say that as you start to sort of... are you resting all as a party, or are you just gonna, are you just sort of finding a corner and reading books and chilling out, or are you taking it in turns, like watch, like you rest for 10 minutes? I guess you're resting together. If it's just a short rest, you'd all be resting doing minimal chores, is that right?
Yes.
You could do non-strenuous stuff, you can keep on watch though, you can relax, you can read, you can study, whatever.
Yeah, well,
I think we've had a short rest for sure. We've had a short rest, because
So the literally as the hour passes, you do find that you feel more rested than you would usually within an hour, and then you suddenly recognize that this sanctum is something that offers you a respite, and you feel more rested than you would do usually because I am nice. You can all have the benefits of a long rest. So, Jess, Amarth, you don't have to make any changes. Everyone else can give yourself full hit points and full spells. And we'll just let Hannah take a little while to go over her character sheet, whilst perhaps some of you want to investigate, have a look around now that the dust has settled. Baron, you will notice that I have... You would almost say excelled myself. I've excelled myself in producing a small token for you to use in place of Socks, and he will be on call as and whenever you need him.
Is Socks out there now? I can see
he
him
is
still keeping an eye on.
I'm pinging him for you now. Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's pretty much as you see it, and as I explained, the lifeless corpse of the partially desiccated Massacier lies face down in a pool of thick black ichor. Hertlinkali is just a chitinous ruin, sort of slumped in one corner. His dual blades, just dropped onto the floor. And yeah, you're currently all bunched in a comfortable room. And it's only Socks who seems to be currently in the main center chamber. And like I say, take your time.
Socks is just going to keep an eye on the corpses and the statue and anybody else around, and alert me if anything should be coming. He stays invisible.
Okay, so he nearly goes to inconvenience, like that when that line opens up between you, like telepathically. But he doesn't relay anything. There's a few times where he thinks he's going to relay something, and then you would just hear the occasional, very distant kind of groan or moan, or like some rocks like dropping from the ceiling and what have you. So it's generally a place that puts you on edge. But like I say, given the wholesomeness of this room, you're able to find respite.
Okay.
And I suppose whilst Hannah's doing her thing, I can just quickly relay that Rain, you obviously, it was announced by Masasir that she dubbed you as brother, although you have no real recollection of ever really, anything past your time with the Master. It struck you as equally alarming as it would do with anyone else when she referred to you as brother. And if you recall, because it was a little while ago since we'd done the last one, she has appealed to you to join with the Master in recognizing and and bringing Wet Wawet into this realm at the cost of your friends' lives. So basically, Masasir said, hey, Wet Wawet is a really good guy. The Master is like your dad, and we all should basically revere Wet Wawet because he is basically the New World Order, and he's a pretty decent chap. He's going to really fuck shit up and make the world ours, because that's what he's promised, the Master. So she's like, you should really do that. Maybe sacrifice your friends. That would be really cool. Basically, that's my way of what she said last time.
Yep. Pretty sure me and Colin unloaded on her anyway, so.
Yeah, I think you did, yeah.
Your family sucks balls, Rains.
Look, my real family sucked balls as well, as you so eloquently put it, my good Baron. The Master was my ticket out of a monastery. Can you imagine me as a priest or cleric? I think not. It was either a tower of necromancy or a seminary school, and I made my choice.
Somebody hearing like monks in the background.
Oh, can you hear that? Yeah, I've got the music playing.
Is that right? It's like being in a flashback with Rain or having some benedictions as he thinks about it.
Or non shamane. That's Indiana Jones. Sorry, that's the wrong one.
Fair enough, Rain. That makes sense.
But I hope I've made my position clear. I have no intention of serving any ancient death gods that my former mentor may think of awakening. I wonder if he's too far gone for me to have words with him. I fear that may be the case.
Only time will tell.
But what do you make of this statue?
Well, I don't know. How do we advance? Is there other doors to continue, or what's going on?
So.
Oh, didn't we get magic items from Like I got a. Oh yeah, I have it here. Oh good, the scorpion brooch. I have.
Yeah. So the Scorpion Brooch was the main recent thing of any interest. Also, now look, I'd have to literally go through my notes and try and find the links and stuff, but Dorfel has acquired recently that armor that is like a melee bug that kind of he wears, and then he can kind of shed it and it turns into a little mobile like attack bot thing, which yes, that was a while ago, but that's something that he has, but he's not here, so he probably won't be using that tonight. I believe also the Baron discovered some ancient writings pertaining to what's your deity's name again? I just can't remember.
Papa Legba, man.
Papa Legba, that's it. So you discovered some ancient, yeah, that's it, in the library of the Raj Pasha, you discovered some writings, some scrawlings pertaining to Papa Legba. And now I know the trigger word was Mon, as in like you say Eman, and it triggers something. But without trawling my notes for plenty of time.
In the chat.
Yeah, in the chat or wherever it may be. Hannah, do you have access to that or?
She does.
Cool.
I do,
Oh, yeah.
but White Baron also just got to and put it into
Ah,
my
sweet.
chat.
That's it, the hidden codex. Yeah, so you have access to that as well.
Yeah, I put it into my notes.
Joyous. Now, what Sox relays to you, basically, if you want me to describe the room a lot more, like I mentioned, the plasmatic hemoglobin globs of blood that were quite thick as a mist and also as cricket ball sized orbs has somewhat dissipated from this room now upon the death of Masasir. The puddles, as you recall, seem to be a source of these floating liquid. As Sox has spent some time sort of watching the statue, he has become aware of the statue really being just a front to a closed stone door that is behind the statue. So to look at it as at the front, you're presented with what you can see there, but behind, say, the thighs, as it were, or the back of the Wet Moet statue is a stone door, not overly decorative, but it appears to be quite large.
Is there the door here? Passageway?
There is another small little door here, yes. If you've asked Sox to have a bit of a look, I can just show you. Again, it just it's a mirror image of the other side. A lot of it seems to be quite stark. A few cracked clay pots. What you are aware of is that you're noticing signs of perhaps recent plundering. Like, this is obviously, there was a time a long time ago when this tomb was when it was initially made, that it was grand and glorious, and now I guess, the word's gotten out and the occasional raiding party of tomb raiders have kind of left most stuff behind, which is why you've obviously discovered the cadaver of that elven scholarly gentleman. But as Sox basically looks around this room, again you see it's like a body preparation table. This one is wooden and it's cracked in the center, so I guess you would call it perhaps a gurney of some sort. And the urns that would perhaps house the organs that were removed with the throughout the burial ritual, they are obviously just full of dust or cracked, and the occasional scorpion and spider kind of just scurries over it or through it. But yeah, it just seems to be an empty kind of once glorious ritual room.
Interesting. And what are the colored orbs around the statue?
So as I mentioned, you imagine about 3 foot height are these sort of obsidian carved, they almost look like towers, like small miniature towers. So they come up like a candlestick, but they're square. And then just floating, hovering above each one, which you've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 are these small towers. Hovering above them are these coloured gemstone-looking orbs that emanate a very light glow. So moving from left to right, you have... I've got to remember these now. Okay, moving from right to left, you've got a green one which seems to emanate a kind of a sickly kind of a glow. Like when you get close, it's like the light from it kind of lights up your face, and you sort of, well, I suppose it's Socks, it's the closest. Socks looks a bit kind of spooky under it. The next one along kind of crackles with a almost like flames. It's like if someone had put a campfire into an orb and it was swirling around angrily, like writhing flames. That's the kind of light that emanates there. The central one emanates, it just seems to absorb. It doesn't actually radiate any light. It absorbs any light around. So if any of you are holding up a torch, as you hold it close, it basically seems to just engulf and extinguish the light. The next one along emanates a beautiful sort of like a kind of a radiant light. Looking upon it is much more pleasurable than perhaps looking at the rest of them, obviously. The red one, like I say, emanating a like a heat. The green one not really emanating any particular temperature. This dark one emanates a cold, sort of chill kind of sensation. Actually, my apologies. This one here, which I'm pinging, this is covered in ice and appears to be opaque and frosted. Whereas it's, the last one that emanates a kind of a radiant glow. We got there in the end, sorry.
Ren, have you got any idea what the magic laser is about? I mean, this is your sort of area, isn't it? Ren?
Sorry, yes.
Can you discern the functions of these candles?
Can I make an arcana or investigation?
Yes, please do. Yeah. It's okay. So how long are you glancing at it? Oh yeah. So you are getting some assistance. You're actually pooling your resources.
Yeah, I should think so.
We're talking about it. We're trying to figure it out. We're friends, but
I can do arcana, investigation, or religion. Or do you want me to pick one and one? Or should I pick? They're all equally good for me.
I would say it would be Arcana.
Okay.
You can roll it with obviously advantage, just in case it's not clear.
Oh, good. It's a 21.
Wow. It's a 21 or a 19, so either way, it's pretty bloody nice. Yep. Yeah, I mean, you guys are like the ancient philosophers of ancient Greece as you kind of sit down and muse over what these orbs could represent. And whilst there clearly appears to be no direct way through the door, you're able to discern that these are perhaps some kind of release mechanism. And whilst none of you have actually, to my knowledge, none of you have actually reached out and touched any of the orbs, you can discern that perhaps these represent to some extent some kind of elemental energy.
Ah.
But they represent, but what is their function?
Oh, you can, with that kind of a roll, you discern that it's some kind of unlocking mechanism. It's like a door mechanism.
Do I know which color attunes to which element? Or is there anything inscribed upon the towers?
It's through a process of elimination, you're obviously able to discern that and again, I'll go from left to right this time, so let me ping it. The top left one here, you get the impression that this is emanating some kind of divine energy. This, given that it's frozen and cold and opaque with frost, is some kind of cold energy. This one at the very south, as it were, or at the foot or at the front of Wet is like a chilling, almost, I'd say you would surmise it was perhaps necrotic in its construction. The next one next to it is a red, obviously being that it's hot and it looks like flame. It's like fire or a heat energy. And the final one is a bit of a mystery to you, but you rolled so well that you basically toss a coin, and some of you will argue for one thing and some of you will argue for another, but it's either poison or acid.
Yes. Okay, well, I'll chat with Colindrin, and together she and I will start with the ones that we do have. I will cast Toll the Dead on the necrotic orb, see if it does anything. Or if she can cast Chill Touch on it as well. Chill Touch is for targets.
Basically, as you cast it, really it does absorb the spell, so there's no area effect, but nothing untoward or nothing really seems to happen through the use of your magics.
Okay, we start with Divine, and I look to my companions and say, does anyone have a spell that is aligned with celestial realms, or perhaps from their deity?
Deities? I don't believe in no deities, just myself.
Look, I'm right with you, but that also means I don't have any such magic.
I have divine magic.
Take it away.
Well, I mean, are we talking about the sacredness of a flame? Is that divine?
It is, yes. Sacred Flame is radiant.
Alright, I will try and cast Sacred Flame on it. See if it does anything.
Okay, cool. As you do so, exactly the same thing happens. The spell is absorbed into the orb crystal, the crystal orb, and whilst there's no external damage done, it just absorbs the element.
We don't hear any locks doing, we don't hear anything else. No
Having
movement.
used having tried it twice and tried your spells, nothing has happened as of yet. No.
Well, let's just try it in order and see what happens.
Okay, what
Are we
order
going in
are
order?
you? What is the order? And what are you doing?
Does anybody have any frost? I think that one's a little more difficult. I don't think I have cold.
I don't think I have anything frost.
Ooh, I have Dragon's Breath, which lets me pick an element, so I could do that.
Well, that's all we got, so try it.
I will cast Dragon's Breath on myself, which my hands start to like drip frost magic, and I will do a cone of frost magic at the frost orb.
Okay, make the rolls.
What was that?
I was just saying, make the rolls.
It just does.
It just does it. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, but the orb would have to make a dex save, basically.
Right, which it automatically fails. Okay, yeah, very much the same thing. The frost seems to absorb the magic that you've thrown at it, and no residual damage has occurred. I love it because I know what the answer is.
What was that? Was that the last one? You have
No, I love it because I know what the answer is, that's all. But yes, currently the 3 of the orbs that you have inflicted elemental damage to have absorbed the elements you've thrown at it.
Okay, and then I will, of course, cast like a firebolt on the fire one.
Have we done necrotic yet?
I think so. Yeah, Colindrin did like a chill touch on it.
Okay.
Okay, so you activate Firebolt. That just does a hideous amount of light, and basically Fireball's so destructive that
Sorry.
Oh, Firebolt. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, perfect spell for that. It is absorbed by the orb, and it seems to float there happily. Perhaps for a moment, the flames within kind of roil in a tantalized kind of way, and but yeah, all up, there's no damage that's taken by the orb or its pedestal.
And then Colindrin will shoot Caustic Brew, which is 2d4 acid damage on the final one.
Okay, fantastic. As you do so, you hear a slight rumble, and standing where you, I imagine you're surrounding these things to some extent. Currently, you feel that something's moved, and you've heard something happen behind the back of the statue of Wet-Wet-Wet. And just for clarification, it was what was the order you did them in? It's quite relevant.
Just from left to right, I think, pretty much.
From left to right?
Mm-hmm.
Or did we do necrotic first? We may have done necrotic first, actually. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think you did necrotic first.
Yeah, and then left to right. Yeah.
Okay. Right. DM writes down necrotic. Okay, yeah. So you hear the rumbling of a door, kind of, and the whole place shakes. And almost for a moment, it looks like the statue of Wet-Wet itself is actually going to start to animate and stride forwards after you. But it's just as the ground shakes and residual dust and debris and gravel kind of litters the ground as this door, instead of lifting up, drops down into the ground, presenting you with the next room. What would you like to do? Are you going to poke your head round, or how are you doing this?
I look. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was clearing my throat.
Oh, I look around and I say, I could bring Carl out, send him on through first.
Carl.
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 Okay,
If,
very well. You can.
Carl hanging around, be good.
So, Carl is your zombie. Is that correct?
Yes, I cast Summon Undead and create a putrid zombie.
Let me call up a zombie. Zombie. And bang. He's probably going to come through quite big. Where is he? There he is. And I'll just give you operation of said Carl. Is that with a K or a C?
I believe K.
Hey, I like it. And Rain has operation of Carl. Okay, do you have control of Carl?
Let's see. Yes.
You have quite a menagerie of companions now, don't you, yourself, Rain?
I really do.
Okay, very well. So,
Yeah,
what?
not only play one wizard, I play two wizards. Great.
What are you? What's the word? What command are you giving to Carl? And what kind of to what extent can he obey? Does he relay information? Can you look through his eyes like a familiar, or is it just literally go in there and come back?
Oh, this is a good question. He is dumb, but he does understand language and can obey. So he will obey my verbal commands, but I don't think I can share senses with him.
Okay, so you could say something like, "Go in there, come back, and hold your hand up if there's danger," or leave your
Yes.
hand down if. Okay, cool. Right, so. That's pretty much what you're telling him to do?
Yep.
Okay. So, I just got to go and get Carl. Now that you've brought him into game. Copy him. So, let me jump onto the map. Now, he basically comes through, he disappears for a short time, but it is only a very short time before he comes back to you and sort of stands like an idiot, I suppose, like any zombie would do, and you notice that he does not raise his hand.
So it's safe, in other words.
Yeah.
Well, Carl says the coast is clear. I still say we keep him ahead.
Okay, so yeah. So given that that's what Carl's relayed back to you, what is your plan of attack or marching order or what have you? Moving here on.
Corlandrin and I should stay at the back, I think.
Fair dues. Finn, Baron.
Yeah. What are we doing?
The
advantage.
So yeah, quick rundown. Rain has summoned Carl, his zombie. He sent Carl through to the next room that was blocked by the stone door, and he told Carl to report back with his hand up if there was danger and his hand down if there was no danger. He came back with his hand down and is standing there I don't know, like a country bumpkin, I guess.
But why is he standing in front of that small room?
Oh, because it's just like I haven't moved him. He's gone and he's come back, and that's what he's reported.
Alright, do we want to search the room that Socks is in to make sure there's nothing hidden in there?
You can certainly send Socks through as well if you wish.
Probably
Yeah.
would be a smart thing. Does Socks see anything in there?
Because it's a similar thing again. Socks having perhaps a slightly more modicum of wit about him, and your ability to see through his eyes and telepathy basically reveals a very wide yet tight, like slight antechamber that leads to yet another, like a thick wooden door, braced, and it has what appears to be some kind of locking mechanism, and that's, you surmise why Carl didn't take any time at all, because he walked through, and it's like a small mid-chamber. This is like a little holding chamber, as it were. How long is Socks just going there to have a look, and is he coming back, or otherwise I'll get you to roll a perception check for me, please.
He's gonna stay in there.
He's going to say, I definitely roll me a perception then, please.
Perception is wisdom, right?
Yeah.
Well, that would be 14.
14. Okay. So he's definitely looking around, and he's like relaying back to you, like, I don't see anything, boss. And he's all mouth. He's all talking away, and then he goes, oh, and he goes, I think I hear something, and he's like, there's quiet, like on the chat, on the telepathy radio, and he goes, oh no, maybe it's nothing. He says, it's all good. It's just a door.
What do you mean just a door? Is it a door opening? Is the door closing? Something coming through the door? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, he says, it's just a closed door, boss.
Okay, let's go have a look. I'm assuming Carl would have set up any traps if they were on the ground.
He would have, yeah. So as in the interests of basically progression, I'm going to move you to the next map. Congratulations. I'll be back in just one sec.
I'll get a drink as well. I'll be right back.
Drinks for everybody!
Drink. But Wayne, very seriously, I did have a wonderful time.
So no hurt feelings towards Kelsey then, I assume.
I got over it. Eventually.
I didn't catch the thing. What were the feelings? I don't understand what the thing is. It's irrelevant. Like, is it the fact that she nicked something, or is it something else?
No, that's it.
Ah, it's a one shot. Who cares?
Okay, I return. So this is pretty much what you can see now. If you've moved to the very south of the map, you should be confronted with a somewhat constricting mid-chamber. Oh dear. Oh, is that what you were eating? I wondered what you were eating there, Baron.
Yeah, well, you should have a look. I'm wearing ice cream right now, and a combination of caramel drops like sugar powder. I look like I look like I sneezed in the combination of like a snowstorm and some cocaine.
Charlie Sheen on a good day.
Yeah, I'm covered in Charlie Sheen's on a good day. Something like that.
No.
I'll give you a blow-by-blow description.
I get you.
Please do. I cannot wait to hear this.
Second thoughts, maybe I might leave it to your imagination.
Oh, spoil the fun.
There's always next time. All right, so what are we seeing? Because this doesn't seem we're seeing much. It's like we can only see the 4 steps that we're on.
That's correct. You basically, obviously you can pick your order, but that's how I put you there. Yeah, it seems to be a double door, exactly the same width as the stone door that just went, which is kind of behind you. To give you an idea of depth or perspective, the first door that dropped, let's call it the elemental door. The elemental door that dropped is about 10 to 15 foot, and then you're faced with this other one. So like I say, it's a small, almost like a fortification of some kind, perhaps, like castles you would have come across in the past, or important monasteries and that kind of thing. They have a double door, like a protection. This is just a wooden door, and it seems to be much more, I don't know if the right word is municipal, but it seems to be much more ordinary in its presentation. The only thing it does present you with is the fact that it is locked. It appears to be locked. And
all right, well, let's all right, let's think about this. So I look up. Is there any like murder holes or anything like that around?
There isn't. All you see, roll me a perception.
Okay. Apparently I need a mouse to do that. That's
Oh, man, that's beautiful. Okay, so with your avid perception, you look once and you look twice, and then there's a slight abnormality in one of the bricks, and it looks like initially you think, oh, that's weird, that beetle's not moving, and then you look at it closer and you realize that it's actually a bronze beetle, kind of half impressed, for want of a better word, into 2 slots of the stonework. So you got where the masonry might go, or the mortar might go. There's a very definite like decorative beetle, and you can't see its head. It's like its rear end. It looks like it's burrowing into the rock, but it is definitely made of like copper or brass.
I think maybe we all move back up into the previous door, and then I might use Mage Hand to push it.
Okay, so how far back are you? You're going back through the other door as well?
Just basically so we're not in the murder room.
Right,
So
okay.
like just 5 steps here, like just behind the like sort of thing.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, well
I don't think you need to put us near the map.
Again, as you're doing this and you're moving back, you also hear like a kind of noise every now and again, like a little kind of chitinous kind of knocking sound, like a tapping sound, but it rapidly sort of stops every now and again. It as sure as eggs is eggs, this is the opening mechanism for the door, and I'm just going to polygon reveal basically what you see.
Because I might use a Mage Hand to try and open it. To push or turn the scatter beetle into the wall.
So let me just reveal a bit more because it's useful. Oh.
Reveal more?
Yeah. It's. I think I remember it mucking me around like this last time. There you go. And so basically, what you see, you're all some distance, so it's hard to see. But basically, this room, as the door kind of just basically, you hear this kind of latch just kind of give, and without even using the mage hand, the heavy wooden doors are geared or designed to just basically swing open and out into this new chamber. It's pitch black except for what appears to be some kind of magma that's glowing and basically lighting up the room. It's the light that is emanating kind of puts you on edge, and as that happens, you begin to hear a lot of like chitinous kind of noises, almost like scurrying. You see like a carpet of creatures and nocturnal bugs and insects kind of make a way from any light that you might be emanating or any light from the previous room. And what you do see is basically these hang on. These here are large kind of shield-sized beetles that have been etched into the stone. They almost look like in a protective manner. They aren't scarabs. They're more slender. And I get... none of you are really close enough to really able to decipher actually what these insectoid-looking effigies are. But that's basically what you're confronted with. Yeah, a room with a river of magma that seems to be creeping away from you. And yeah, what you see is what you see. What would you like to do?
I think I'm going to drop some poison spray over here, see if the insects move out of the way.
Poison spray. Okay, is that a circular area effect or is it a cone?
The creature you can see within range. Range is 10 feet. Partials nozzle gas. Yeah, I think it's in the area. I don't know. I can't actually tell.
So I would say
one creature. I'd say. So I'd say a 5-foot block.
So the carpet of creatures are scurrying away into the shadows. Like if you've ever sprayed like bug spray on ants or what have you, they just die. There's a big carpet of dead, lifeless, chitinous creatures on the ground.
I continue breathing on them.
Okay, I take it you're doing like a flurry.
I just every round I breathe some more poisonous gas over this area. You know.
Okay, cool. And you're moving forwards? Because I'll get you to roll me a perception, please.
Not very good.
Okay. As you move forwards, you basically, you come into the room, and from behind you, you hear a very loud sort of clicking and clacking sound as in these chambers that were obscured to you. Hang on. DM thing. You've now entered the room. That basically shows you this. You're confronted with two realistic looking bugs, and they've pretty much kind of got the drop on you where they are because you've come through. Your perception wasn't quite enough to notice them in time, and they solely think that you are their dinner, basically. So I will get everyone to roll perception for me, please. Not perception. Oh man. Initiative. That's it. Yep. Yep. We got there.
Just that I am casting poison all around me. So does that get them as well? Or
yeah, that's pretty much what's got them riled, and they will be starting with less hit points.
Ooh, it's like what are they? Tarantulas? They don't like bug spray.
Oh no, these are much worse. These are much worse.
We should also update our hit points because I think
Yeah.
we copied over, but I have the old hit points.
You need to put the twin tracker on.
Oh, bollocks, I do, don't I? See how out of touch I am? There we are. Let me just clear it. Removal turns clear. Okay.
Many moons.
It has. So I'll just re-roll and change. Rusty is. Okay. Team. Now, obviously, if you're going to meta, you know what these already are, but I will get everyone to roll me. Well, no, it's just Baron, because Baron's the only one that can see them. Baron, roll me a nature check, please.
That's a natural 20 with a -1.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Basically, you take. Now, it takes a lot to scare the Baron, but this makes you take a good, and I'm being kind. I guess you can take a good 5-foot step back in abject terror as you realize that these are 2 assassin bugs.
Okay, so I move backwards.
Yeah, and it's so good, in fact, that I can tell you a bit about them. So you know that assassin bugs are about the size of a shield. So that's about 2 or 3 foot. They're renowned for basically using their ovipositors to inject live larvae into the living hosts, which really fucks you up royal. Basically, it's like not what you want to have happen to you. You're just grateful or ungrateful, I suppose, that there's 2 and not a like coven or swarm thereof. But yeah, these 2 have got the drop on you, and let me just sort these out. Oh shit, what am I doing? Go through. Rain, you seem to be top of the list. You hear a kerfuffle and a sort of a chitinous knocking sound as the Baron has been spraying his poison around, thus angering something. What would you like to do?
We are in the room currently.
I think you're still waiting. You're still waiting in the corridor, but I can't link the maps together. So wherever you had agreed to wait is pretty much where you are. So let's say, just to round it up, you're a good 10 to 15 foot away. You're by the other door. So you, in your movement, you could still move 15 foot into this map.
Okay, I will do so. Well, I want to stay behind the Baron, so I'll get like right behind the Baron. But I want to see what he sees.
Okay. So yeah, you are then, as you move in, I take it you can all move your characters, can you?
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
But the Baron doesn't look like he's in the room. Like, what is this bottleneck down here? It's just like a corridor?
Well, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's a bottleneck. So basically, the reason that the Baron wasn't able to notice the 2 assassin bugs is because they were basically roosting, much like the stone effigies up here. They were roosting in the tiny little antechambers, the sort of are behind the door, as it were. Like literally, as you see geographically there, and there's a lot of bodies in the way, but it kind of there's 2 like U shapes, 2 cavities, and they were hiding in the cavities.
Does the long rest recharge our items as well?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Oh, great. I will I will cast Magic Missile at the one in front of me, and I will use my book, The Fulminating Treatise, to add a bit extra damage and knock it prone.
Okay, is that the one on the left or the right?
On the right, I think.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know which one is closer to the... Yeah, okay, yeah, the one here.
The one on the right? And
So
you're
let's
knocking it
see.
prone?
Yes.
Okay, 10 damage. And
That would be 13, so 18 force damage, and it's prone.
18 force. Does it have to make a save at all?
Nope, there's Magic Missile.
Wow, okay, so it is down.
Yep. And then immediately after me, Carl will come in. So I'll sidle back up and let Carl take my spot in front of me.
Right.
will,
And that's force damage. Yeah, that's basically you. Imagine you've summoned a great big boot of force that has basically smashed down onto this bug, and whilst it's not killed it, it's definitely not done it any favors. It kind of squeals out in this high-pitched, agonizing, bone-chilling kind of a screech. And it takes a few steps to try and turn to confront you, but obviously, given the force, it's just basically compelled to slump into the floor, and it's just a mass of writhing legs. Well done. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
Squash a few bugs, Carl.
So that would be Carl's turn now. Is that right?
Yes, he goes immediately after me, and he has a +10 to hit. He strikes. Oh, let's see, only once. Okay. That's 22 to hit, I think.
Oh yeah, that definitely hits.
Oh no, I only have a +7 on this character. So 18 to hit.
Yeah, that hits. And that's what, 11 points of damage?
1d6 +3 plus another 3.
Wow.
Yeah. 11 points of bludgeoning, I believe.
On the same creature, yeah?
Yes.
Wow. So
slashing damage. Yep.
As it's lying there, Carl's just mindless fists just come in, thumping away. And again, the chamber, this once very quiet chamber, sort of echoes and rings out with this kind of high-pitched, insectile kind of cry. You've done a lot of damage to it. Basically, you see cracks in its carapace, and part of its eye cluster seems to be kind of hanging off, and a green ichor is kind of ebbing from it. So it's looking in a pretty bad way. It looks like it still has a bit of a fight in it, but you've definitely mashed it up.
And then I suppose it's Qualendrin's turn.
Yep, Qualendrin.
She will cast, I suppose, Tasha's Mind Whip on it.
Okay.
He has to make an intelligence saving throw.
Wow. Yeah, so you whip him up quite considerably.
That takes 12 psychic damage. And
wow.
Its mind is racked, and on its next turn, it can only move, do an action, or a bonus action. Only one of the three.
Okay.
I
All
don't
right.
think is the Afriti on the initiative bonus?
Oh, true, yes, we have a Afriti.
He will be going last if these creatures even make it one round. Yeah, I can do him. I was just not. Here we are. One sec. Oh. D&D Beyond. Afriti. Yeah, so carry on. It is going to be Amarth next. Wow, you're really up there, Amarth.
Yeah, that's not as cool as one would think. So Amarth is just gonna get out of this bottleneck, and use her daily Misty Step.
Okay, very nice. So, like I say, you're 15 foot away from that entrance at 10. Let's say 10 foot away from the entrance at the moment. So -10 onto your Misty Step,
Okay.
but then you've got movement as well. So
Well,
nice
yeah,
one.
So, I'll
Yeah, that's all good.
and then yep, using my action, I will cast Mind Slither on the damaged one. So intelligence save of 14.
Oh man, you're pretty quick to find his weakness. Oh, I don't know though. Like, it really looks like it's trying, but I guess being harangued by all the attacks that are happening and the fact that it's still prone, you basically you get in there. So it takes another 6. Oh no, sorry, yeah, it's the first one.
5 psychic damage.
5 psychic damage. Very tasty. It's not looking in a good way at all. Whilst physically, not much has changed. Mentally, it seems to be really disorientated now. And from its proboscis, just a constant steady flow of blood and ichor just kind of oozes from its mouth. And you can hear its breathing is now somewhat laboured.
Okay,
Is there anything else you'd like? Anything else, sorry?
I might try and step between this box and the lava and go a few more feet in.
Okay.
About there, just so that people can get in.
Beautiful. Yes. So now that you've really seen the room, you're the closest to notice that these stone effigies are the same assassin bugs. They appear to be quite highly decorated, almost as if they are revered or were revered by a culture long extinct. Sorry. Okay, that brings us to Finn. Finn, what would you like to do? We basically are confronted with 2 very horrific. You guys just don't know how terrifying these fucking creatures are. But you basically, there's a healthy one, and there's one that's really nearly on his last legs.
Okay. That is always good to know. Alrighties, I'm gonna get 2 and step out with me short sword in hand. 1, 2, 3 to there. And going to, in true fashion, bug zapper. So,
Bug zapper.
lightning lure.
Oh, you're going to pull it
zap the
out of its
bug.
cavity. Nice.
Give me a strength save, buggy.
Okay. Well, they're all right.
You
15?
serious?
Oh, no, 19. I don't know why it rolls twice, but we'll go for the first one. That's only fair.
Okay.
So you still do damage to it,
Yeah,
am I
pass.
right? You just don't pull it towards you.
Yes. So, create a lash light energy strike to one creature your choice to see within 50 feet. Must succeed on a strength saving throw or be pulled up to 10 feet in straight line towards me. And then take 1d8 lightning damage if it's within.
Right. So it needs to be
5 feet,
pulled
yeah.
first, and then upon being pulled, it will take the damage. So because it resists, I guess it doesn't get pulled. It doesn't get. We'll get a Wayne.
I'm very
We'll call a Wayne in on this. Wayne, what would you say here? Oh.
Yeah, no, I don't. The target must succeed or be, and then take.
Yeah.
So yeah, I reckon
And then-
it succeeds and doesn't take anything.
Yeah. So it's able
As
to
much as I
resist.
hate that.
Yeah, well, maybe it's, the fact that it's prone and it's got a good grip on the ground with its hooked toes. You go to pull it, but a surprising display a feat of strength. It stays where it is, unfortunately. You've obviously taken 15 foot to move into the room, and now you can see the whole room. Is there any other bonus actions you'd like to do, or?
I'm
such?
going to just go to, and I'm going to pop to the other side of the lava, of course, right on the chest there, and yeah, I'm on the chest, standing on the chest, because I misty stepped out of the way as a bonus action.
Right. Oh, you misty stepped out the way. Excellent. So you can get right out of
Yes.
trouble.
So I just went, oh shit, poof, and right up there where the bug couldn't see me, but I like being
Very
seen.
nice. At least you've successfully also been able to overcome the. It's not a reservoir, but the river of magma that seems to be leaking from a. I will just point out it's like a small hole, like the size of a sewer outlet of magma that seems to be constantly flowing. And I just quickly give you that insight while I mentioned it. Once upon a time, it looks like there was some kind of thing that channeled this lava, but currently it seems to be spilling out onto the floor. With that said, Baron, that brings us to you. Is there anything else you'd like to? What would you like to do?
I'll step back out. Is there a way I can use Eldritch Blast in this thing and push it into magma, or is he too far into the wall?
It still hasn't had a chance to even move out of the cavity yet. So yeah, it's basically imprisoned in that cavity.
Oh, then I think the initiative order is wrong, because it's on a 15 and mine on an 8.
Okay,
I think
yeah.
Simon re-rolled because it didn't show up in the turn order, so he moved it into the correct spot, just hadn't updated the number.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I will just do descending. Hang on, and rain, Amarth, Qualendrin. Oh yeah, the bug should have gone, but you've bombarded the crap out of it. So the other one is shocked, let's say. So yes, it still moves to you, Baron.
Alright, I'm going to move there, and there, and there, and there. And then I will conjure up an Eldritch Blast, but hold on to it until I see an enemy and then I can hit and try and knock it to some lava.
Okay, very nice. Very nice use of terrain. Is there any bonus actions you'd like to do or anything like that? You've obviously taken your movement.
No, I think this is good enough for now.
So what happens next is the Ifriti. He decides to run directly into the room and, well, fly into the room because basically he's like a fire god. And surveys the area, has a bit of a look around, basically quickly sees the healthy bug and sees the not so healthy bug and moves to engage. Standing in the magma just slightly, it moves to engage with this creature, and unless things go really bad, I think he's pretty much going to kill it. He goes to make an attack with multi-attack. Scimitar twice. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so basically, rushing in to save the day, like some flaming hero, he comes in and just basically plunges both, with just one scimitar. Basically, it's one scimitar, just hacks it down the center of its carapace, like splitting it into two. As it does so, those of you who are engaged in the room with this creature notice that as it does so, small, like fat maggots about the size of what's that? About 6 inches long and about 4 inches fat, just kind of start trying to find a way out. And whilst they aren't posing a threat to you at the moment, it's quite a disgusting sight to see. And the Ifriti, knowing full well what they are, takes sort of a step backwards whilst he's trying to stamp, but doesn't actually squash any. That brings us to... Yeah, he's done his attack. Yeah, that brings us to Rain.
Alright.
So this guy's gone. Let me just... What would you like to do?
Okay, yes. I will walk in my 15 feet, and I would like to use actually my... Can I safely stand and wear socks? Like with socks in that square?
Yeah, Sox is floating in the air.
Sox is hovering above, so yes, you can. You wouldn't want to be pushed back or lose your footing at this stage, because obviously there's a river of magma across the floor. Yep. But yes, you can safely stand there, yes.
And how injured is that other bug?
It's uninjured and looking pretty healthy and incredibly riled up. Like, it's looking like it's in the throes of flying off of the wall. You know, it's starting to open up its carapace, and I don't know if that's the right word. Yeah, but it's looking like it's about to fly. The wings are getting ready.
In that case, I will do the same thing and magic missile it and knock it to the ground.
Oh yeah, because it just hits. So yeah, all right, very nice. Roll the damage.
Okay, that is, let's see. Oh wow, another 13 force damage plus 17 force damage, and it is prone.
Oh. Okay, it's prone as well, righto. That was minus 13. Wow, that spell is very
well,
strong.
It's magic missile plus the fulminating treatise.
So yes, this... I almost feel sorry for them. This bug is also prone now. I'll get the other one out of the equation. So yeah, well done. So it looks like it's about to fly away, and you just basically swatted it to the floor with an incredible bout of force. If there's anything else you'd like to do, otherwise I guess it's Carl next.
Yep. Let's see. Ooh, that is a 12 to hit.
It is a miss.
Oh no, wait. He has advantage because it's prone.
Oh yeah, true.
Oh, there we go. 26 to hit.
No. Yeah, it's a hit.
Ooh, that's a 12 slashing damage.
12 slashing damage, okay.
And he has his fetid aura, so if the bug starts its turn in 5 feet, which it is, it will have to make a save against poison.
Okay, what, this turn or next turn?
On its turn, if it starts its turn next
okay.
turn. Yeah.
Alright, yeah, you basically pretty much second verse, same as the first. With the last bug, you've brought him right down. Again, this one... looks like it can't hold its head up anymore. Like the perhaps the sinew that was deep within its chitin's armor is really struggling to hold its head up, and again, a lot of the eyes, which make up a majority of its head, seem to be damaged or raked through. So, yeah, it's not looking very healthy. Definitely, the wings have been withdrawn because they're obviously quite vulnerable. Yeah, nice one. You've really mashed him up. Unless there's anything else you'd like to do, it brings us to Amarth.
Since it's on the ground and Carl's in front of it, can I see it?
It's not full cover by any means. It would be half cover, I would say.
Okay. I'm going to try and shoot it with a firebolt from where I am then.
Okay. Does that have an area effect just in case it hits Carl?
No, it's a cantrip, so it only hits the one person.
So that's a AC 21?
Yep. For 14 damage.
Oh, wow. This thing basically is immolated. And I mean, it's prone anyway, but it just looks like it's not moving. The only thing that hints that it's alive is the fact that you can hear this horrific kind of semi-screech but majorly gurgling sound as it kind of taps a toe trying to contemplate what has happened to it. Writhing, knocked prone on the floor. Yeah, it's not in a good way in any shape. Is there a bonus action or anything else you'd like to do?
Nope, that's it for now.
Yeah, this thing is in a bad way. So that brings us to Quelandrin.
She will just toll the dead on it.
Okay.
It must make a wisdom save. Oh, jeez. It succeeds, and I rolled really bad anyway. Oh no, it didn't. It hasn't rolled yet.
It hasn't rolled. Wisdom save. 11.
It takes 7 necrotic damage.
How do you want to do this?
Oh, wow. 7 from a 2d12. Okay. She takes out a little silvery bell, and then she gives it a mean smirk, tinkles the bell, and then its head implodes.
That's both awesome and cruel at the same time, and I love it. This one, obviously, not being hacked apart, really just basically having an exploded head, currently just appears to just stop moving. And that ends battle. Yeah, hang on, where are we? Oh, yeah. Okay, so that ends initiative. Very well done. I will just get everyone to roll me a perception.
I don't see anything at all.
So see no evil, hear no evil. Can
Wow,
see everything.
Baron, you are on fire, my friend. Right. Baron, you, in the final death knell of this second assassin bug, it kind of slumps to the ground, and you just briefly get this I guess maybe with your serpentine alignment or whatever, and being having a slight more attunement to like a tremor sense, you get this almost nauseous feeling of when there's an incredibly low bass rumble, and all the rest of you unfortunately don't get to hear it, but Baron, you hear this like warbling sound. It's almost like a deep buzzing, like a kind of like a hive of very angry wasps, but if you were to turn the buzzing right down to an almost inaudible level. And yes, that's what you hear. Papa Legba. You've got to chant that. Come on, if you're by your phone, you've got to say that, Baron.
In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Papa Legba's light.
Excellent. That's so cool. You get inspiration, my friend. Well done. Yeah. So you hear this like almost, like I say, it's like a wasp's hive, but much lower.
Coming from what direction?
It's really hard to discern almost all around, but whether it's because the opening over here seems to be a little bit louder coming from the opening in the tomb wall here.
I tell everybody, I think there's wasps or fire wasps coming from some magma. Some sort of it's not going to be any normal wasp, is it? If it's coming out of a magma tunnel, is it?
You're not.
It sounds angry.
Shall we get to GTFO then? I'm not feeling very comfortable in this room, I will admit.
Alright, let's continue. What is all this here?
Okay, so basically, you see the remnants of this room is so much more arid. So much more humid than the other rooms you've been in, and maybe it's the hole in the wall, or obviously the slow leaking lava that seems to be spilled on the floor. But basically, a lot of these crates and barrels seem to be very, very, poorly looked after. They've seen time's not been kind to them. Sorry, that's what I'm trying to say. Time has not been kind to them. They're rotten, and if they're not rotten, then they've been engulfed in magma. Also, you do notice that a lot of them seem to be like prized open, and there's splinters everywhere. I'll get you to roll me a perception. No, either perception or investigation.
Everybody?
Well, it's you who asked the question and you're looking, so just you. Oh my god. You absolutely ace it with a 25. So with a 25 when you're looking, these splinters don't look like they've been, these containers have been opened with tools. They look like they've been torn apart with mandibles or something of that sort of description. You literally Scooby and Shaggy and kind of go, huh? At the crates, and then you go, huh? At the head of the assassin bug, and you kind of put two and two together, and you're like, you can only assume that perhaps there was some kind of sustenance that the creature was after at some point. But they all seem to have been torn open. And again, devoid of any real... they look like food crates, things you perhaps might have stored wine in, or brandy, or let's say natural foodstuffs, things, opulent gifts that may have eventually made their way into the chambers of the whatever was buried here.
Alright, well, is it the only way to safely cross is by going like this way?
yeah, so again, what I've actually done here, this is the other room. This isn't a door here, so basically have it's one complete stone chamber. And again, as you're sort of looking around, your perception is so amazing that I can basically let you in it. This looks like it was almost like served a slightly different purpose. As you've progressed through this chamber so far, you realise that this is the first chamber past the boundaries or the protection of Wet by Wet, and it almost appears to be like it's got no windows. The air is very stifling. It's like air can barely get in there, and it looks like it's almost like maybe a torture chamber of some kind, or a place where if there were a lot of these insects that people could just be thrown into and basically gotten rid of, to put it very politely. Food for the creatures, a disposal room of some sort, perhaps, to appease Wet by Wet. So there's no windows, there's no doors. The only door is a small stone door to the north. And what, again, is such a great perception that even from there, you're able to notice that the lava is kind of leaking downhill. And whilst it currently seems to be sort of stopped where it is, it seems to be leaking towards the door. And although you're not super close, both the Baron with his amazing perception roll and generally a Marth, because she's close enough, you see that there's a small, again, like cricket ball sized hole underneath the door, like almost like a cup, like a receptacle. And the magma seems to be just falling shy of it at the moment. But that's what you can see from there. So it looks like some kind of kill room where perhaps if you're a naughty slave, you'd get thrown in to be fed to the bugs.
Alright, let's move everybody up and away from the lava, okay? Oh, hold on. Can we actually check this room here?
No, that's all sealed off. I just accidentally revealed it. I can block it back out if you want.
That's fine. No, it's fine. Alright, so we move up to here. Can we move everybody else? Like, does the Rain want to move? And the Freety want to move?
Actually, I have an idea. Qualendrin has Tidal Wave. She can summon this massive wall of water. I'm wondering if she can, like, cool down like a big patch of lava. Or even, like, block it up again, you know?
And that's an idea, but is the lava trying to go for that little gap under the door? Oh, is the lava supposed to go there to open the door?
I will get Finn. You're quite close as well. I would get Finn, Amarth, and the Baron to roll me just an intelligence check. But Amarth, you get advantage.
Intelligence checks. Why?
Wow. Okay, so I can reveal why. So basically, Jess, you absolutely hit the nail on the head. Whilst Baron and Finn are scratching theirs, you're like, hang on, gravity is encouraging the lava to kind of be pulled that way. And because you're close enough, and because obviously the Baron has been astute to draw your attention to it, you can see that there are like blackened scorch marks around the cup. But you are aware that there's undulations now in the tiles of the floor that are stopping the magma from really spilling out more than what it's doing currently.
Okay. Does anyone have like a pitten or anything? I mean, I could use my sword. I just worry I don't want it melting.
You want to use a what?
A pin or something to try and clear out these gaps. I don't want to use my sword in case I melt it.
Or do you think there's some sort of trapdoor that the lava is falling into?
Yeah, it seems to be flowing towards the door, that it's going to go in this hole in the door, but it's being blocked by stuff in the grooves in the ground. So we need something to clear out the grooves so the lava can flow and open the door.
I'm confused. Isn't the groove stopping the lava from the... Are you sure we want to make the lava get rid of the door? Do you think that's the aim? I thought the lava is like not getting to the end because there's some sort of trapdoor in front of it.
No, the undulations of the... So you imagine the tiles once in this room were probably perfectly laid and perfectly smooth and flat, and as you look around, there's like remnants of like the odd bit of channel here and a bit of a broken tile in the shape perhaps of like semicircular, but it's been destroyed through time that the magma that once sort of flowed, the lava that once sort of flowed, just seems to be spilling indirectly around the room, and obviously the lay of the tiles shows that even still now that the lava is leaching towards the door and that wall. Obviously, again, I suppose I can kind of reveal, because Amarth was just absolutely aced it with a 21, that it looks like perhaps at some point the lava flowed, but through time and neglect, the channels have been destroyed.
So, just for clarification, channel up to there or channel over to there?
To the north. To the north.
West?
This is the only door, and it's currently sealed. But like I say, it has a small receptacle or alcove, little cup cut away underneath the door that you can see, scorched.
So,
Okay.
do we want to smash some tiles?
Yes. Do we have anything we can use to break or make a groove towards the door that we don't mind if it accidentally gets melted by lava?
Well, I can mold earth if there's the earth in the way. I can
There are
use
tiles.
I can
I
use
don't
the
think-
Eldritch Blast, maybe. I don't know.
Baron, roll me a
Mention.
intelligence, Baron.
You're not going with my best stat though. Let's go with 2. How about 2? 2 good enough?
I mean, currently it eludes you, but you're kind of convinced with what Amarth is saying. It makes sense, but a couple of those options seem like they're viable. You don't know which is the best one.
Well, I can use mold earth as well. I thought mold earth you couldn't do it on shaped ground. You could only do it on natural, but
I'm just saying if maybe earth has fallen away, like them. Forget it. Mold Earth's probably not the right one.
It is just tiles are obviously laid on earth, and like I say, what you can see dirt underneath these tiles. Like it's so. Imagine when like tree roots or whatever, or just subsidence makes the tiles bulge and burst, and underneath you just see literally what's there. I mean, like these guys weren't building like show homes; they were just like chucking tiles down on top of dirt. So there's dirt, there's like roots and earth underneath that you can see.
Can we use mold earth to maybe lower the tiles?
You can certainly give that a try. Is that what you're going to do? Are you all in agreement, or is there perhaps another way you want to tackle it?
Or okay, what about Mage Hand? Can I use Mage Hand to start cleaning out the tiles?
You certainly
The
can
damage
do
tiles.
that. So it's a very lengthy process, but using the Mage Hand, kind of just what you're doing, pushing the tiles down and kind of digging out a bit of a cavity, or
Yeah, like whatever it takes to get the lava flowing again. So if there's a tile that's broken, move it out the way. If it's a tile is being up, make it, make sure, try to lower it. Whatever is needed.
Okay,
I'll help
nice.
where I can.
And I don't know. What about the rest of them? Ren, you got any magic, or Finn?
I'm not too keen, I have to say, to get any closer to this lava than I have to.
Okay, maybe you want to move even further away, like near Soxy, so you go more away from the lava.
Okay, and I'm going to hop on down, and then I'm up there.
Alright,
Awesome.
so with Ren away, no one will help, it's just me and the Marlin.
Okay, so with your mage hand, you're actually much more dexterous with your mage hand than you would have been with the mold earth, and you're able to create a bit of a channel and start to encourage, and this is not a threatening situation. Like, although there's a lot of molten magma there, it all seems to be held at bay in its current situation, but you notice that as you start to sort of clear away the floor and start to create these grooves in the tiles, it certainly does begin to leach towards the receptacle under the door, and it sort of leaches forwards, begins to fill up the cup, and then as it does so, gets to the top, and then begins to leach through out of sight through the door, and then eventually you hear this unlocking sound, but it's not metallic, it's like a grinding of stone, and you hear like these stone kind of cogs kind of whirring, and they go, and the door gets about halfway before it gets kind of stuck. Obviously, again, like I say, time hasn't been good to this mechanism, and you could either crawl under it or look to find a way of basically relieving the jam.
I attempt to go lift. Sorry, the door was rising.
It was rising, and it's just kind of buckled and got stuck halfway. But it looks like it could. It looks like you could try perhaps to lift it all the way up, or
I would like to attempt to lift it.
Okay, make me a strength check, please.
And the Ifriti would like to help you. Because he can fly and move around, so he can get in a good spot and help you push.
Oh, I'm glad you recognise your resources. Yeah, the Afriti certainly agrees. But literally, what with Finn's amazingly excellent belt of Hill Giant strength and the Afriti, together you look at each other and you give each other like a true like anime determined nod and go, oh, and then with ease, like it's scary how strong you are combined. You're able to lift the door 100%, revealing the next room. I'm gonna just... This is a oddly shaped room, so it needs a bit of attention. Let's try that, sorry. So I'll just move this up, the camera up for everybody else, into the next stage. Basically, Finn, as you're literally right there, and obviously the Afriti as well, this other room shows a much better preserved carved channel in the shape of an Ankh, which is like the symbol of life, but also it can be perceived as a symbol of death, as there is not one without the other. The eye, which you could say was extinguished, now seems to be slowly filling with this magma as it begins to channel its way around. Again, old pots. Some you notice here are like brass urns, but mostly they're, again, just clay pots. Kind of litter the room. Centrally, the Ankh channel that's there is etched into the floor, and in the center of the iris, the magma eventually, really slowly, kind of just drips down into almost like a small reservoir, small bottomless pit. But it's quite beautiful to see the Ankh sort of being illuminated, and it begins to light up the room quite nicely. Here you see it reveals 3 stone. They're not sarcophagus because they're too oblong shape, but there's 3 stone chests off to the right, and to your north again is a stone door. And as you come in, it's obviously taking a while for the magma to fill up this Ankh. So what would you like to do?
I'd like to go around with my sword and smash clay pots.
Oh, awesome. Just like true computer game style.
Welcome to
Yes,
Diablo.
please.
Okay. As you do so, you basically roll me a perception with advantage, please.
So that's perception with advantages of 24.
Very nice. So you're smashing away willy-nilly with the butt of your sword. You're like, hey, check me out. I am Je suis le Vandal. And on the last pot you smash, you see a very small, and for us it would be about the size of a test tube, like leather cylindrical case with a little, it's not really a stopper, but it's like a little leather cap that sits over the top, like a very small version of a map case.
Ooh. I would definitely like to pick that up, so I found a mini map case.
Okay. Yes, that's correct. That's what is there.
Can I open it and have a look? And
Yep. So what you see is it's like nothing untoward happens, and as you unfurl it, it seems to be quite kind of old, and you realise as the corners start to sort of break away that this is quite an ancient document. You roll it open, and the hieroglyphs that you came across on the body that the Baron found are like etched all over this thing, and it almost looks impossible to understand. Apart from in the center, there seems to be a drawing, and we'll ride on the coattails of your perception of 24. You sort of look around, and you're kind of like, I'm never going to be able to understand what this says. And then you look, and there's like a sketch of this particular area, and it's basically 2 stone statues of Wet, but they're facing one another. But yet, when you look at the picture, the statues are facing you. Now, you can take some time to maybe ask one of your more learned friends to try and decipher, because you do have a rudimentary understanding of the language from the book that the scholar had started working out, or you can feed in.
so it's got a language.
It has, yeah. So
I would like to do. I'm gonna just cast comprehend language.
Awesome! What a fantastically useful spell to have in this situation. So, within 3 seconds of you casting the spell for the next hour, it would seem. Suddenly you look around and whilst a lot of the inscriptions are hard to decipher, you can look at these hieroglyphs and they suddenly make perfect sense to you. What it basically says is, it looks like it's a personal note, and it says, "I have turned the statues to lock my secret laboratory." And then underneath, you notice there's some writing, and it says 2 parts blue to 1 part green equals strength. And then it says 2 parts yellow to 1 part blue equals health. And then underneath that it says 1 part green, 1 part yellow, 1 part blue equals, and then there's not a real word for it, but it looks like it basically translates to health, but kind of like a relaxed health.
Can you either say that again or put that somewhere so I can copy it, please?
Yeah.
If you can type it into Discord.
So yeah.
Because I only got the first one. I got 2 parts blue, 1 part green equals strength.
Okay, let me just go.
Pretty pleased, dear.
I'll write that now. Dum. And I'll put it in, I guess, loot. I'll put it in loot. So it was 2 parts blue, 1 part red equals strength.
Yeah, didn't even get that right.
Is that right?
I thought you said green, so...
No. Green should be the last one. So 2 parts blue, 1 part red is strength. 2 parts red.
Yeah.
And 1 part yellow equals health. And then you've got 1 part red, yellow, green equals, and then relaxed health is kind of how it translates. Once you've got comprehend languages, so it basically translates to greater restoration.
Awesome. Cool.
That was a good find.
That is awesome. But I still don't quite understand what it's referring to, but I'm going to let my companions know that... Oh, it would seem that there seems to be this room does hold a secret for us. And I'm going to, with an air of self-importance, direct the Nefertiti and over to one of the other statues and have him turn it.
So yeah, as you looked around, so you're asking the Ifriti to correct the statues?
Yes.
So the only
Well,
real...
I stand there holding the piece of paper, like directing, like I'm very important.
Oh yeah, with the clipboard, and you're doing the thing, nodding with a hard hat on.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all stock footage. Yeah, that's cool. I'm down with that. So the Ifriti comes into the room and literally stands in front of the Baron. He looks at the and he obviously can't comprehend any of the language, but he kind of looks at the image, and then he looks at what is happening over here, and he just goes, well, don't we just correct them? And he just kind of starts to twist the one statue to face you, and then he goes, like, is this cool? And he like goes to grab the other one, like moves the other one to face outwards, and literally you just hear this, and there must be an incredible weight to hold this small door as it kind of flips and reveals itself, and a little passageway. You have found a secret, by the way. Very well done. You did well here. So you've got your little passageway reveals itself through the two statues that are either side.
Very cool.
And he just sort of looks and shrugs and goes,
I would like to get to and investigate. So I'm gonna come up closer and sort of like curiously stick my head in and sort of peer in the room.
Okay. So you're able to now see hang on, have I got it? Yep, here we go. A room of some considerable size. That I'm just revealing. Something like that. So a room of considerable size. To your more modern, in inverted commas, to your more modern mind, it looks like almost like a partial labyrinth of some kind of library. But as opposed to having books, it seems to have maybe just a handful of larger leather scrolls. And whilst most of the shelves look at some point like they've been plundered, there's a few kind of map cases or scroll cases lying around. But at the back, you see these like jars of coloured powder and a few sort of bottles strewn on the floor.
Okay. I indicate over to Rain. Has Rain gone and followed us into this room, or are you still in the last one?
Oh, he'll definitely follow.
Rain, you best come have a look at this. It looks like your sort of place. And I'm going to go into the room.
Okay, I'll follow behind.
And I'm going to make my way around to the... I believe it was over here was the powders?
That's correct, yeah.
Around this edge.
Okay, show
See,
me
there's
which
an
way.
opening. There's an opening here.
That's right. There is a decrepit-looking wooden door, kind of lies half on its hinges across the threshold.
I'm going to have a look at that, but I'm going to point to Rain and say, just go up ahead on that far wall, and there seems to be some powders there. Do you want to have a look at them or get them up for us? Because I think I might have some recipes here, and sort of showing my little scroll that I've got in my hands.
Do I need an Arcana check or anything?
Are you going off of what Finn has told you?
Yep.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll get you to roll an Arcana check, and like literally, you're gonna do it unless you roll a 1, and then something bad could happen. But you know, it's pretty straightforward. 2 parts of this to 1 part of that, but we'll see how you go.
Oh boy, the 1 was not far off actually.
27.
19, the 1 was right there. I was like,
Ooh. Wow. Okay. Yeah, you succeed. There's basically there's 3 empty vials lying around on the floor, like bottles or small like clay pots. You're able to perform the measurements, and you're able to produce. It's so funny, like it's dry powder, but the minute you start to mix it together and swill it together, it defies all science and becomes like a liquid. And again, they all seem to sort of bear the same sort of primary sort of colors that they were mixed up for. And for want of loot purposes, you have made yourself a potion of greater restoration, a potion of hill giant strength,
Ooh, I could use that.
and a second potion of hill giant strength, and a potion of healing, which does 3d4 plus 4 hit points of regeneration or health.
I'll give you the 2 hill giant strength.
I don't think this hill giant strength is going to help her. She's already as strong as a hill giant. Makes no
Yeah,
sense.
exactly.
I
Well,
was joking.
what?
I
Of course, ha ha ha.
All right.
Oh, Baron.
Does the Baron want 2 potions of hill giant strength?
I mean, I haven't taken anything for a little while, but I can hold it for somebody else. I mean, if you have to rely on me in like hand-to-hand combat, then something went wrong. Like to use magic and threats.
and you do them oh so well, my dear.
Well, I think.
I am going to get to, and there is this a door in front of me, and it's a decrepit door, and so just for the sake of fun, I'm just going to cast Gust at it to open it. Yes, correct, Rain.
It obliterates the door as it basically opens up. You're presented with... Hang on just one moment.
Which is 10 feet away from me.
Presented with a mess hall of some description. Again, I'm just going to do this one. Something like that. A grand yet decrepit and degenerated table seems to be sort of slumped on its one last remaining good leg, as basically the table is turned into boards on the floor. This appears to be some kind of mess hall. Again, very not at all grand. Again, I suppose, geographically speaking, perhaps too close to where people were being put to death, really, for it to be of any like relevance to anyone important. But also curious that it is attached to some kind of laboratory. And that's how it presents itself. Again, already pre-smashed urns, some leather sort of scroll cases seem to be like strewn. Where are we? Let me just change the thing. So you've got some leather scroll cases over here, kind of lying around. There's something like a crude looking kind of anvil thing, much smaller, perhaps for like jewelry craft over here, and then some skeletal looking barrels that have basically worn away and rotted away.
Oh, this does look like a bit of fun. I call the others forth. Shall we have investigate? I see some clay pots to smash.
Oh. With that attitude, it's amazing you got through the tower in one piece.
Your tower, where we found you. If we hadn't have been so curious, we would never have gotten you out.
Well, I would have figured something out. 2 years is a long time. I'm sure I was close.
Oh, it's okay. Condescending pat, pat, pat. It's all over now. So I'm going to go and investigate into the clay pots and other little hidey holes around the edges. Not getting to the table just yet.
Okay, show me the path you're taking with your arrows.
Oh, shoot, how do I do this again?
So hold onto your character and then right click as you move around. Okay. Right, I'll stop you there. So as you get to the anvil, the path you've taken so far seems to be uneventful. But as you get to the anvil, you notice that in the... like on the small square anvil, and I'd say it's only perhaps, again, I'm going to work in inches, maybe 20 inches square, which is, let's say, maybe 300 mil square, something like that, is a... it appears to be like an unfinished golden ring. So it still has the seam where it was put together in the mold, just lying on the anvil. It looks like with a bit of finishing off, it could be a nice ring.
I would like to. I'm going to just have a look at it. So just like, I don't want to touch it just yet.
Okay.
So just sort of peer down at it. Does it have any writing or anything else like that? You know, does it look like if I throw it in a fire, it's gonna?
Does it look precious?
Gonna appear?
It doesn't appear to be at all precious in any way, just golden, and it's a dull gold. Again, it looks like it hasn't been finished. It looks like it's just been left.
Well, I'm just going to grab out my trusty little bandana and just pick it up in the bandana.
Okay. Get you to roll me intelligence real quick.
No. Definite no. It's a 9.
That's a 9. Okay. It's hard to discern actually how much this gold ring would cost.
Really?
With a 9? Yeah, currently you don't know how well it's going to clean up, so it's hard to discern.
Alright, I'm going to get to, and I'll just wrap it up and put it into my my trusty little purse, wherever that thing went.
Alright, so you wrap it up in the bandana?
It's in my purple silk bandana, correct.
Okay, cool, okay. Nice one. Sure, okay, that's basically if you want to progress some more, you basically look around the room, and like I say, the only other real thing are some moldy looking scroll cases on a decrepit looking chest of drawers.
Oh, so open up the chest of drawers to see if there's any fabulous clothing?
Basically, it collapses to the ground. As you pull the drawers out, it was the only thing that was holding it structurally sound. And the map cases or scroll cases just roll onto the ground. And, yeah. That's what's happened there.
Okay. I would like to pick them up, have a look, see if there's anything in them.
Okay, sure. There's 3 there. As you pick up the first one, it appears to be empty. As you go to pick up the second one, I'll get you to roll me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Squeeze me.
Mm-hmm. The map case kind of almost dissolves into your hand and momentarily kind of just bonds with your flesh. You get the sensation like your whole skeleton just begins to freeze in this horrific kind of necrotic kind of wilting chill of the grave effect. And we'll just have a little look. I'm going to take 7 points of necrotic damage as you basically frantically try and pull this gelatinous, I suppose for want of a better word, scroll case out of your hand as it begins to try and fuse with your body.
Do I have any methods of stopping this fusion?
Yeah, it was the dexterity to try and kind of let go the reaction.
So is that the last one?
There's one more.
I am going to have a real close look at it and sort of like got my sword back out, like, and just sort of poke it with my sword.
It just rolls around on what's left of the chest of drawers.
Okay. May I do an Arcana check?
Yep, sure.
A 7.
Okay, so there's a holy trinity of both curiosity versus your, like, I guess your need to know what's in there rolls against what just happened to you, and then obviously your want to kind of just leave it alone, and you're torn between the three. Magically speaking, though, especially as you comprehend languages, all three of these so far have been unmarked, but you notice with this one, it seems to have a like a white cap, and upon closer inspection, the first one just had like brown leather, but the one you picked up, you hadn't noticed, but on the underneath was like a black kind of cap.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? Gonna take a risk. Let's open this up. Investigate inside.
Okay, so as you open it up, it's basically kind of the opposite sort of happens. So you pull the cap off, and again, there's nothing in there. It seems to almost break this spell. So whereas the other one looked like the spell went off correctly, this one appears to just kind of fizzle out. And as you pull the cap off, you think briefly you see a scroll, but then you see nothing in there. And let's see, I'll get you to roll me a dexterity save if you want to.
You know what?
As
For
all-
the fun
as
of
all
this,
this is-
yes.
You're going to.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a 22.
So just as a blinding radiant light, sort of radiant healing light seems to sort of glow from the magics within the scroll case, you drop it to the floor and nothing happens. But you did have that brief moment of seeing what you thought you saw as a scroll within.
Okay, so can I pick it up again to see if there's a scroll inside?
Visually, you don't see anything, but physically, as you sort of go to kind of pick it up, you can feel the texture of papyrus, and it feels like there's a scroll there.
I'm so confused. Okay. Guess I'm just gonna have cap back on and put it away for later.
Okay, nice one. But otherwise, yep, that's all that you seem to discover in the mess hall. Obviously, a few leftover scrolls from some perhaps rather bizarre magic practitioner. Whilst this has been happening, Baron, the Ifriti, Qualandrin, and Sox, your attention is drawn towards these 3 stone chests. And you've been able to discern what looks like the center chest seems to have maybe an orb or a sun on it. The one to the north seems to have a... it's quite easy to make out some kind of dagger-looking thing. And the chest at the bottom, or the stone box at the bottom, has some hieroglyphs which you're not able to discern at this stage.
Dagger. What's the other one? You said orb of something.
Dagger, orb, and some hieroglyphs written on it.
So, like a dagger, as in we use the dagger, or we use like cloud of daggers or some bullshit like that? Is it like a spell, or is it like just an actual key?
It's the like effigy or icon of a dagger. Just literally just a slightly curled looking dagger.
Okay. Any ideas, guys?
Open one.
I'm just up. Yeah, so just decide amongst yourselves what you'd like to do next. I'm obviously going to just update the loot.
So I don't know, do we cast a spell on it, or are we using the actual item itself to open it?
Currently, as it stands, without really discerning much more, it just is literally a stone box with a dagger on it, and like I say, one with like a circular-looking orb or sun-looking type thing, and the last one has some hieroglyphs.
I haven't got a clue. I'm out. No idea.
Okay, Rain, anyone else? Or are you all deeply adventuring the laboratory still?
I think my brain's turned off. I'm just tired.
Has anyone just tried opening them? Or like looking at them?
Alright, I can use Mage Hand to try and open it without, putting pressure on it. Just like to see if it'll open with light pressure.
Under light pressure, it doesn't. This is quite a heavy-looking stone lid.
Yeah, no, what's it? That doesn't work.
You get the impression that perhaps maybe two normal humans of average strength would probably need it to be able to lift it, or an Afriti on a good day, or a Finn and an Afriti, that's a mouthful, on a bad day.
Well, maybe Mr. Afriti, you go open one.
Maybe Finn can help if it's all super jacked.
Maybe someone can drink a potion of hill giant strength.
Carl.
I don't see the reason to waste it based on this situation.
Oh.
So the Afriti looks kind of like he's ever so used to taking orders, and he just shrugs, and he doesn't know whether to look at the Baron, or he finds himself staring at Carl's feet and being quite grossed out by it, and he's like, what do you want me to do?
Open them.
Which one? There's three.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe. If he yelps, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Middle one.
Righto. And he kind of just flies over, and he goes, you better stand back. And he kind of he starts to really strain and kind of pushes the stone lid back, and it jams against the wall, but it's enough for him to kind of look in, and he goes, and he kind of recoils back, and for a moment you think it's something horrific, because you're perhaps conditioned in this horrific place to see horrific things, but he plunges his hand in, and with a little bit of wiggling with his arm, he's able to just pull out the biggest fire opal you've ever seen in your life. This thing has been, it's larger than the orbs that granted you access into this room. It's about the size of a small soccer ball, and
Jesus.
It could almost, on the right day to the right seller, this could almost buy you a boat. buy you a ship just outright.
Did
It's
someone say boat?
yeah, it's the most valuable prized thing that you've been able to locate or find. Lucky enough to find so far. This fire opal is probably unrivaled in all of Faerun as far as wealth goes. It's a what? Sorry.
So I was just going to say, and the middle one was the one that had some kind of orb engraved in it or above it?
That's right. So he went for the middle one, and he reached in, and that's when he pulled out the soccer ball sized fire opal. This would be like 15,000 gold. If you were able to sell it, it would nearly buy you a ship.
Nice. Check the one to the left.
So to his left, so that one has an inscription of a dagger on it, and he sort of goes. He kind of his morale is just bolstered, and he kind of who reaches out for the orb. He kind of goes to hand it to you.
Since I was talking to him, I'll just hold on to it for the moment.
Okay, so Amarth, you reach out for the orb, and again, almost just conditioned to expect the worst, you kind of almost flinch instinctively holding this orb, but it's beautiful, and it's absolutely unmarred. And then as you look within, I don't know if you guys are like aware with crystals and stuff. As you will sort of turn it, there's like a fine slither that reflects the light in a different way, and there's some hieroglyphs embedded within the fire opal, but nothing bad happens to you. It's a king's ransom of wealth that you found there. The Ifriti moves over to the left side and begins to do the similar thing. Let's see how he's going with his strength, and let's see if he stuffs it. He won't stuff it up. He's got 22 strength. He basically pushes the lid clean off of this one, and recoils as again from something that you guys can't fully see. And as he takes a few steps back, this mummified, desiccated hand reaches out of the stone chest, and he looks particularly shaken and begins to move back. He lowers his scimitar as the hand reaches up.
He wouldn't drop it straight on the hand and crush it?
He's pushed it clean off.
Ah, of course he has.
So the hand just kind of reclines back within the chest once again, and you can just hear like movement and like a shuffling.
So
What would you like to do?
I might have to call it. I'm exhausted.
Alright, that does seem to be like a good place where we can leave it, unless anyone else wants to progress a bit more or find out what in the other chests we can carry on, or...
I mean, we've got one last chest to open.
Yeah. All this happened so far is a mummified hand has put its it's not mummified because it doesn't have the bandages, but a desiccated hand has reached up and dropped back down again.
But it's scared the Ifriti. What you so scared of?
He goes, "Undead," and it kind of shrugs. He goes, "But it seems okay."
Okay.
Maybe just leave it for the moment and check the one on the right.
He takes the long way round. As he's doing this, you finally notice that the Ankh is completely full of magma, and you hear like a locking mechanism trigger somewhere, perhaps off in this kind of direction, as if a door has finally become free. You almost were like so in depth or engrossed in everything else that was happening that it took a little while. And if you'd had to have gotten out, it would have been difficult. But yep, as time has passed, you hear a locking sound. The Afriti moves his way to the last one, and he says, "Does anyone know what that says?" And he kind of traces his finger across the hieroglyphs that are like all over the stone chest.
Not in the room. Is anyone going to call me over, or?
Oh, can you just hold a sec? Can you read it? Says to the 3D. Can you read it? Afriti, can you read it?
He says, "No, I don't know this." He says, "If it was primordial, I would be your jinn, but as it stands, this is a foreign language to me."
Finn, this is something for you to read.
To eat? I excitedly jog on back and everything to the Baron. Did you say eat? What are we eating?
I'm getting too old for this shit. I mean, to read, to use words, to understand the writing.
Ah, okay, to read, okay.
Pull out that
And
bullshit.
go up and-
Pull out that bullshit you put before.
And I go, and I believe it's still in effect. It hasn't been an hour yet.
No, not at all. No, it's been 10 minutes, if that.
I'll get to and have a read.
Okay, so clearly, as clear as day, it says the armor of Ra's second.
Oh, so this one's quite interesting. It says the armor of Ra's second, and from memory, Ra was god of sun.
He's the sun god, yes.
Alright. I might be interested in it, but right now I'm going to contemplate other things. So good luck.
99.
No, mate.
So, can we have it written down what it says?
The armor of Ra's second. I would like to help the Nefertiti push it open. And I tell him that it looks like this one could be of some interest. Shall we open it together?
Awesome. So basically,
has it
we
been
get
an hour since I summoned Carl?
no, not at all. Since you summoned Carl, I would say it's been probably 15-20 minutes because you had a very short fight with those bugs. You've had a look around. I'd say it's 15-25 minutes. 15 to 25 minutes.
I'll get Carl to help as I stand way back.
Awesome. That's great. Hang on, I'm just looking up something. Sorry. Oh yeah, there it is. Fuck. All right, let's get into this. So basically, you both Finn and the Afriti push the final stone lid back. The wall kind of stops it, and you end up having to sort of jostle it, and it puts up a bit of a fight. But as you reel it back, you see. Let's see. Finn, you're there. So roll me a history, real quick.
All my rolls tonight have been very average. And I'm keeping up that.
With an 8, unfortunately. Look, the origins of this of this particular armor kind of elude you, but there's real similarities to the armor that Rain found back at the Serpent Temple, at the Emerald Throne Room. And what strikes you, I mean, as interesting is that there's like these beautiful, very, very ornate gold and orange and silver scales that make up this suit of armor. It seems to be just like something that would protect. It looks kind of like what we would compare to like a Roman style, where it's doesn't really protect your full arms, but it does protect your shoulders, and it has a slight sort of skirt to it, like a protective kind of scaled skirt. And this you recognize or can put in your books as I think it's serpent scales, armor of the serpent. I'm just trying to find it. I was trying to find it before. Armor of the serpent. No. Okay, let me just try and find it.
Is this a standard inventory item, or is this?
It is. Yeah. Serpent. Let me just look that up. And then go items. Serpent scale armor, that's what it's called.
Serpent.
I'll share it with you in the loot. Hang on, how about that? Let me click that.
Suit of
Copy.
magical armor is made from shimmering scales while wearing it. Ooh.
Yep. You gotta love that one. I really love it.
Can I?
Well, that's up to you as a democracy.
Very, very pretty. Who here has a good dex? Who here could make use of this armor that looks to be very flexible but yet very fabulous? Marth, you armored up?
I'm all good.
Rain, you nice and pretty?
Rain's got that fantastic fire serpent armor.
Yes,
So
I was. Yep.
as you're kind of leaning over and discussing who's going to wear the armor, I would say off to the left, a desiccated cadaver has eluded your perception, and then suddenly just seems to be just standing, like swaying, in like a Jack in the Box, for want of it, like a really grotesque Jack in the Box. You've seen zombies, especially you, Rain, and zombies can be horrific. They always have visible physical displays of how they've been injured or how they died in their previous life before they've been reanimated, and it takes a really long time to kind of look at this one. There's something almost, it's what's the word? Whereas zombies generally, even to your trained expertise, will set you on edge or make you feel uncomfortable, especially to the layman, to have them in the room. This one seems to not possess that ability. You know how some perhaps mummies will cause fear just upon seeing them. This is just, you see it, and upon inspection it's quite clear to see that there's some kind of dagger in its chest, and as it begins to kind of reanimate itself, it kind of begins to kind of pat itself down, like really pitifully beating its chest. Amarth, on the other hand, is quite engrossed in the armor and has moved over to take a look over your shoulders. What do you want to do about the zombie in the room?
Is it hostile?
It's not. It seems to just be standing there, kind of partly watching you, but not in a creepy way, not in a like a stalker call the police kind of way, but it's just partly observing you, but mainly looking down and like feebly clawing at a dagger that seems to be embedded in its chest.
You want to go take that dagger out?
I will send Carl to do it. I will say I will go closer to it and I will say in common, like, can you understand me? To the zombie.
Amarth stands back and sort of looks on with some curiosity, but again keeps flicking her eyes on the armor that seems to be lying in the chest. Jess, at this stage, what would you like to say or do?
I'm not sure.
What is the zombie wearing?
Okay. So the zombie you see, it seems to be wearing leather armor. It kind of seems to be in. Doesn't seem like an outright uniform per se. But it seems like he's wearing something very uniformish. That would possibly lead to believe it's part of something, a group of something. It seems to have some pretty long white hair. Beyond that, in its current desiccated state, can't really tell much beyond that, despite the fact that the clothing doesn't actually seem to have been damaged or age-worn or anything. It's just as if it's clothing that you're wearing.
So Rain, your last thing was to ask Carl to remove the dagger from this swaying placid zombie. Is that correct?
Beg your pardon?
What was your command to Carl?
To remove the dagger.
Okay. As Carl approaches and slowly moves, begins to remove the dagger from this other zombie, it's the weirdest sight you've ever seen. It's like if you've ever seen two wooden puppets trying to kind of reenact the aid of one helping the other. It's macabre, but at the same time, it's also what's the word? Like you feel pity for it. It's macabre, but it's also pitiful. And Carl removes the dagger, and what happens is the placid zombie, once the dagger's removed, grabs the dagger from Carl and holds it for a moment, and you think, oh, it's going to attack, but then it looks at you all and it sheaths the dagger into an old-looking scabbard. Yeah, what you going to do? You got loot, you've got armor, you've got a zombie.
Can I try and talk to him?
By all means.
I can still speak Amira languages, so I'm basically, I don't know. I'm basically gonna say hello in as many ones that come to mind. More, actually, no. I can read and understand.
Yeah, I don't think you can speak. You can just read and understand.
Damn it. Comprehend. Oh! would detect thoughts work?
You would yeah. You can certainly give that a try. What does it say here? Okay. This is obviously a character kind of intro. Jess, this is something I will leave you to read and respond as you see fit.
What's the wisdom saying?
So,
14.
yeah. Just roll me a yeah. Oh, there you go.
The zombie just kind of looks towards you and kind of like can't really tell around the desiccated skin, but you're fairly sure it just raised its eyebrow at you quite like, really? Kind of look like, really?
This kind of behavior in a zombie has really piqued your interest, Rain. And in the light of everything that's basically moved, especially something that's moved and is dead, it's almost like a respite. It's almost like a breath of fresh air to see something not fly at you with claws and teeth.
The zombie is kind of just like stretching at the moment, like as if it's been in, well, it has been essentially in bed for God knows how long.
You know them feels.
Rain comes up, all smiles, and goes, what ho there, friend? You wouldn't be named Jeremy, would you?
Zombie looks at you really confused, like, no. Tries to speak, but no words are coming out.
Oh, do you mind if I check your vocal cords? Perhaps that is the problem.
He's gonna look at you like, I don't know who you are, but okay, because you took the dagger out, kinda, I'm gonna let you do this, but I'm cautious.
I will use my medicine proficiency to make a check.
Okay, roll it up.
Ooh, lovely. Dirty 20. What seems to be the problem with speech?
As you kind of bravely, probably, or forward stroke, stupidly begin to kind of finger into the zombie's mouth and like clutch at its throat. Nothing really feels untoward. It just seems to be very dry and desiccated. But as you kind of squeeze, it's almost like it slightly fleshes out ever so slightly. I'm doing it to myself as when I'm describing it. But basically, what initially on the first grasp felt like numerous corpses that you may or may not have come into contact with in the past, on your last clutch, it just feels a little bit thicker, a little bit more embodied. But you just put it down to the fact that this is a cadaver, a zombie, like many that you've come across before, and most zombies don't have the ability to formulate correct full words.
So it's not for lack of intelligence, or?
No, there's actually it seems to it has retained sorry, I better talk a bit quieter. It's retained both of its eyes, and there is whilst the whole rest of its body looks racked with death, you see a glimmer of intellect in both its good eyes, and it's almost again like when you initially saw it, it wasn't really there, but upon a second appraisal, you see this intellect kind of almost returning.
I wonder if the master knew you were here. An intelligent undead is extremely rare and sophisticated. You are quite special. Were you interred here on purpose, or?
At the mention of the master, the zombie quite clearly panics and starts looking around and trying to climb out of the box. Essentially, as if they've just remembered something that they were meant to be doing, they were in the middle of, and he's very clearly panicked.
Oh my, I didn't mean to frighten you. Can we help at all?
He's just gesturing wildly, like trying to like convey something. He at moments he pauses and his hand goes to his head and he's like very clearly in pain, but other moments he's trying to like seems like he's trying to alert you to something. But he can't figure out what's happening, and he's looking around and realizing right at this second it doesn't look like it's happening.
Do you know the master? Did he create you?
He definitely clearly recognizes the name, the master. And he's looking around wildly as if trying to locate it. But when you said, "Are you created by him?" he looked very confused.
Let us get your bearings. I will confer with my friends. And then I sort of whisper to Carl to keep an eye on him, and then go to hang out with the others. I go to Amath and I go, and our captain, and I go, I'm not sure if he knows he's dead, and he doesn't seem to be able to communicate.
You would see Amath, she puts her hands up and looks at both Finn, the Afriti, yourself, and just generally around. She goes, if he was a portal, I would know exactly what to do, but I think zombies would be your area of expertise. So if you say we keep an eye on him, then I will keep both of mine on him.
Well, I suppose I could try to investigate the magic that is keeping this spirit bound to this body. He is certainly intelligent and able to communicate, and that's more than most common undead. That's quite remarkable, really.
In the background, the zombies kind of climbed out of the tomb thing and it's like fallen flat on their face and like kind of stood back up. Is kind of just looking around, really confused, and is like looking at himself like, what the hell is going on? Like, very confused.
I will make my way back to the placid zombie and go. Now, this may come as a shock, but please don't panic. We are friends here, and I am something of an expert in such matters, if I may toot my own horn, as it were. And then I will use prestidigitation to conjure a hand mirror very quickly and just show him his reflection.
If a zombie could faint, the zombie just fainted. Yeah, after looking in the mirror, his like eyes have gone really wide and is like looking at himself, kind of like starting to like panic as in what the hell has just happened to me? What is going on? Yeah, he's very panicked at the moment, very confused.
My friend, you have joined the ranks of the higher undead. Do not be afraid. Your body will never tire or hunger again. It's quite extraordinary.
After a few minutes, he kind of calms down and kind of looks back at the coffin and is just staring at it for a few minutes, trying to figure out essentially how did he end up in there with a dagger in his chest. But like he seemed to be like really, really focusing, and it seemed like he was about to remember something. But then he buckles over quite clearly in pain, hands to his head, like can't remember.
What is the last thing you remember?
He again is trying very clearly to remember, and he puts his hands over his eyes and gestures to his ears, kind of trying to signify that he remembers hearing things in darkness, and that's it.
What was your purpose here?
He just shakes his head.
Can I do an investigation or arcana on the dagger?
I guess. I'm not sure. Simon?
Or I don't know, or like I mean I just assumed the dagger was there to imprison him, but you know, if there was anything to glean from it.
I'm sure the zombie would be happy for you to look at it. I'm not sure what that would be though.
They're all +8, so it doesn't really matter. I'll just roll. We'll see. Oh, big numbers, come on. 24.
So Simon, what dagger was in my chest? We lost some.
You may have stepped away. Actually, perfect time for a cuppa. I might get a drink myself.
Sorry, I got called away.
Oh, perfect.
Brain was just doing a arcana check on the dagger that was in the zombie's chest.
Okay, so whilst the zombie seems to be incredibly possessive over it, you were at some distance. What you do notice is that daggers usually created to be very svelte and sharp, and almost sometimes they're jagged, serrated, and what have you. But this seems to be like an imitation of that design, but it doesn't reflect any kind of light. Again, given your background, it seems to be almost made of bone or some kind of enamel. It's shaped similar to that of a tooth, but of a very large creature. If it were a tooth, it would be part or a complete tooth of some creature.
Oh. So it's made from the tooth of a creature. What else? Is that
Ooh,
it?
like a dinosaur.
Just it just seems to be bone. Really and truly, when you first saw it, it just looked like a bone hanging out of the rib cage. You almost just was like, oh, it's a broken rib cage. It's just that's what it died of. This thing died of. But then on closer inspection, you could see that there's some kind of like leather string, for want of a better word, leather ribbon attached around what would be like a makeshift handle to this particular dagger. It still looks incredibly sharp and keen, but from what you could have seen before it was slipped into the scabbard, it didn't shine, it didn't glint, and it didn't really present itself as a typical dagger-looking item. Like I say, that more of a broken bone or some kind of bone creation.
I hand it back to him. I go, has he told us his name? I go, can you write? Are you able to write for us?
If you've got the patience, you get the impression that it could certainly try, and it would be Jess, it would be your dexterity roll with disadvantage versus
Dex check.
Yeah. So dex check disadvantage versus if other people are trying or sitting around working in this out, then it would be versus Rain's intelligence with advantage.
I'll give Rain a hand, not that I'm very smart.
So 13 for zombie.
So it doesn't do an amazing job, but there's some literacy to it. It's scribed so incoherently that even Finn's detect languages doesn't readily pick it up. You kind of both need to sit there and like mull it over. So if you want to contest the dexterity with your advantage intelligence, that would be brilliant.
Who was that? Rain?
It's Rain has got the highest intelligence, and you're lending him a hand. So Rain.
Yes. I think we're waiting on him to come back with his cup of tea.
Oh, what do I have to do? Sorry, intelligence check or
Yes.
Intelligence, yeah.
With advantage, was it?
With advantage, yes.
okay. Ooh, good. It was nearly bad. Dirty 20.
Okay, nice. So it takes you almost a painful amount of time, but you are able to establish a very crude form of communication through your patience of trying to discern what this placid zombie is trying to convey. So whatever Telio is basically what gets written down. Telio.
Okay. Well, Telio, we are actually on our way to confront the Master, as it so happens. What are your plans?
He kind of looks around and looks at you all and looks around the room, and then points at you, and then points at the open door, saying follow. He intends to just follow for now.
Just ignore me.
All right. Does he have weapons and stuff? He's equipped, right?
He seems to have basic leather armor and a dagger, as well as, well, roll a perception. Well, actually, no, it's entirely up to you. Jess can describe what he is wearing.
Yeah, so now he's standing out of the thing now. You can see he's definitely wearing, sorry, let me pull up the picture to describe. He's kind of wearing leather armor, and pants. It's kind of has a bit down the back that just kind of hangs down, a bit kind of like a bit of a skirt at the back. He's got a short sword strapped to his side, as well as multiple daggers strapped to his legs. And on the other side, he's got a bit of a short bow hanging down. And his hair is kind of clearly was tied up partially, like sides were kind of pulled back, but after, kind of like when you've been asleep, it just kind of has all fallen down, kind of out of the tie. Think a zombie-fied version of this. I'll pop a picture in Discord.
While this is happening, you notice that the Baron starts to look a little uncomfortable and starts looking over his shoulder. He goes, "Do you hear that, man?"
Oh no, can he hear more bugs?
He goes, "It the same sound as what I heard before, like a low buzzing."
I have a great desire to get to and shut that door.
Very well. Well,
Behind us.
that would be easily done, obviously, because there's a steady flow of magma slowly making its way into the receptacle, and then into the Ankh. So yeah, a little bit of disruption there. Could be easily done. Dorful's made his way in. He's been very, very quiet so far. Perhaps he's been terrified by everything that's been happening so far. But yeah, you're all within this chamber, the Ankh. And yeah, you don't know what's going to happen, but a closed door is probably better than an open door.
I don't know, it depends if you want to go through it or not.
That's up to you. But yeah, the Baron's looking a bit skittish. He's making his way up to here and peering through the corridor now that this stone door has slowly revealed the entrance. But yeah, sorry, I don't want to interrupt what you're doing, but I had to do some things in the background, and that's what he's doing.
We can always send Carl through. Between Carl and Ifriti, we're quite strong, I think.
You've definitely got some flesh shields there.
I'll send Carl in.
Okay, so this is a point. If you stand him there, I need you to show me which path you're taking.
Like that?
Okay. Yep, that's fine. He makes it that far. the Baron being a educated gentleman, well, I don't like moving him too much, so I'll probably have to wrap it fairly soon, but we'll make it so he comes into this corridor. He's followed Carl. Dorful, again. You know what? I'm going to make Dorful roll for it. This is what happens when you don't attend. He'll do it. He's going to make a deception. So I'll make a dexterity saving throw to get out the way of... So Dorful takes a slightly different path. You, let's see, Rain, you would have just slightly noticed it from the door here. Hang on, let me put him back. Dorful makes almost like a beeline. He makes a beeline towards the Baron and steps over one of the tiles that both Carl and the Baron didn't do. And what happens is these very like shadow, they're like spikes, like spears made of shadow, just kind of appear out of the tiles and thrust themselves upwards, but he's able to dive out the way. But a good cluster of maybe 4 or 5 of these spears just kind of like thrust their way up to the ceiling and then slowly drop back down and disappear. And he looks very startled, but his dexterity was crazy enough to get out of the way, which basically alludes to the fact that this corridor could be trapped.
Dun, dun, dun.
And Carl, you've got to where you are at the moment. The rest of you, what would you like to do?
I don't. Oh, no, never mind.
At this stage, I would say Placid Zombie has the stats of a typical zombie. And I'll obviously review that.
Okay, so find that out.
What would anyone else like to do?
I will follow Carl's original path.
All right,
Getting
put yourself
to
up
the full
with
sleep
him.
stage.
Yeah. I'm gonna...
The zombie will be on the heel of Rain.
All right. And I assume Qualandrin will take a similar thing.
Yep.
Amarth, kind of... You guys are all very serious in what you're doing with regards to trying to navigate a path. She sees that there's enough of you out there that's kind of done it correctly, and Finn, you're still right next to her. She kind of puts her hand out, like almost like a stage production, and looks to the Afriti as if like he's on cue to have to hold her hand or something or other, and he gingerly kind of reaches his enormous red hand into hers, and both the Afriti and Amarth skip off. Well, she skips off as she drags him along as they both kind of oh, hang on, that's too many. As they both kind of follow suit and head up this way. And she seems to be, you can't hear what she's saying, but she's sort of talking reassuringly to the Afriti as they both make their way up towards the door. That just leaves Finn in the room. What would you like to do, Finn?
Finn's just going to get to and follow the Afriti.
Wonderful. So
Making
we're
sure I step where they step, and that I don't make the same mistakes they do.
well. That's fantastic. So let's see. Do you want to leave it there, or do you want to just try and navigate your way through this last little chamber?
How are
Good
you guys
vote.
feeling?
I mean, if the chamber's like the end of it, it might be an idea just to get through.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just to see if you step correctly.
Alrighties. Step away, peeps.
So whoever's taking point, show me how you're doing it and where you're going.
Is Carl taking point?
Yes, absolutely. Whilst we have him for 20 more minutes, he's absolutely going to take point. In fact, I will have him just, do like an S pattern. He can trigger all the traps. He can just sort of, snake forward.
All right, show me
Step.
with the counters.
He'll just step on every tile.
Oh my god. Okay, so moving in an S formation, and I'll just take control of him. He goes like here to there and steps there, and basically you hear this almighty thud as these shadow spears, like very sharp, horrific looking shadow spears, plunge through him, and he will take 3d6 necrotic damage. So that's 8 points of damage.
Okay.
Is he still moving in an S formation?
Yes, I'll just give him hit points now.
He basically gets to here, and sorry, I do need him to make a dexterity save. So let's see. This one, I get him to make a dexterity save, unless you don't want him to. I don't know. So
He'll make a save.
yeah, so make 2, because I want to be fair. I don't just want to. Yeah. So make 2, and if
Oh boy. He failed.
so that was the first one. He definitely nuffed it up. Second one. Oh, he aces it. Basically, the same thing happens again, but he is able to pirouette out of the way of some here. So I will be a kind DM and quickly draw a shape to show you where they are. So this one was bad. This one was bad. And as he carries on, again in his S formation, nothing, nothing, nothing. Trips over a few pots, but nothing, nothing. Gets to there, another dexterity save, please.
Oof, 10.
Okay, another 3d6 necrotic damage, another 15 necrotic damage.
Oof, I'm gonna go up to him and use my healer kit on him.
Okay, so this is working well. He's literally like your boomstick, as it were. So
Yeah.
he takes 3 points healing.
I know, he'll take 3 plus he takes 3 plus 4, and if he would take plus his number of hit dice, but these things don't have any hit dice, they just have 30 hit points, and that's it. So I guess he just
All right.
gets another 7.
Yeah, that's fine. And so Amarth and everyone have sort of moved forwards, and they're all kind of eagerly watching, and Amarth is like encouraging Qualandrin to kind of like, do you think he'll make it? Do you think he'll make it? And it's almost as if they're having a bit of a wager to see whether he'll survive or not. And she's laughing and chuckling and like looking at Dorful, and Dorful's kind of giving a bit of a frown, as this is obviously serious business. And Carl is doing great guns until he gets to there, where I need him to make another dexterity save, please.
15.
15. Ah, it's just enough for him to, and like literally just enough. No, it's not even that. It's not even just enough. It's just luck that the 5 prongs of shadow just go around him and like go through where he doesn't have flesh. It's just enough for it to just pierce through and then drop back down. And he just stands there kind of dumbfounded. So let me draw these last couple. One in front of you there, Rain, and one there. Okay. Is he progressing still?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So as he progresses, nothing happens. He gets to the end and has successfully revealed all of the traps.
Best boy.
And so I assume that the rest of you will choose to follow in his footsteps.
Yes.
You're doing great, Carl.
He really took one for the team. He took multiple for the team there, didn't he, really?
Yeah.
And so
he's a new Jeremy.
Yes. Oh, just wait till I get Jeremy's again.
and so that leaves you guys. Obviously, you're in charge of Placid Zombie there. And Finn, I nearly moved you. Finn, please feel free to position yourself on a safe spot. So, as you make your way down this tight corridor, it's incredibly dark, but I think pretty much most of you have dark vision, don't you? Apart from maybe trying to think. All of you except Finn, you don't have dark vision, and
I do still have. I have dark vision.
oh, you do. Oh, yeah.
Yep, 60 feet is what I get for being a water ganassi, which is why I'm not a fan of lava.
Ah, yeah, sizzle.
Mm-hmm.
So it is only the Placid Zombie that I would say doesn't.
No. Zombies
does-
and Telio both have.
Dark vision. Oh, yeah, true. Because it's your eyes. Yeah. Okay, so you all have dark vision, so there's no worries. So you basically, whilst it's not perfect light and it's not night vision, the light, reflective light, is just enough for you to be able to make your way safely in the path of Carl. You basically get halfway down a corridor, and that is where we're going to end it for tonight, I think, because next time it will be a new map. And what I'll do is just, why not? Because it's on the record. I mean, I'll get everyone to roll me a perception, please. And this will be Dorful.
It'll be the right time. Come on!
And the Baron.
Zombie perception is wisdom.
It is wisdom, yeah. Wow. The math is amazing.
Oh god. The zombie Telio is just not getting there.
But you know what happens now, Jess?
He's still waking up. Sorry.
Once now that you've left that room,
They'll
things
notice
will
that
happen.
slowly my skin's coming back
Very slowly, yeah.
normal. Yeah.
Okay, so it's basically Amarth and the Baron. You notice that you are all aware of this residual drone now. And I would say only the Baron and Dorful and Amarth and Colandrin are able to notice the sound of chanting. And characters that... So Amarth will tell you that she hears chanting because I'll be taking on Amarth moving forward. The Afriti, he doesn't hear it. And both the Baron and Dorful but basically say, you hear some kind of chanting. And, like, I don't want to be the spoiler DM, but shit is going to get much more challenging now.
Dun, dun, dun.
Have your game faces on for this next level.